our experience was done initially with the daratumumab, the first antibody approved in therapy of myeloma. The results indicated that the interaction between daratumumab and surface CD38 leads to the production of microvesicles, which are then released and they reach the biological fluids and the blood. These microvesicles are covered with the therapeutic antibody. So even having a mini cells with antibodies on top, destination of these mini cells is mandatory. They reach circulating cells, reach on FC receptors. This is the first indication. Not only reach these cells, but they are internalized, and likely the cargo of these mini cells enter the target cells. So we've seen that there are many or significant modification of the DNA of these cells accepting the mini cells or with the internalized mini cells. And some of the genes which are upregulated are linked to function, important function, so like the ability to react or the set of genes involved in the immune response. There are a long list of genes involved in the immune response. It will take my whole life to study each of them. However, these observations, which are published in collaboration with Paul Richardson in Stanford, are, in my view, and also in the view of the group, the Spanish group, who described what happens in vivo when isatuximab, the other antibody approved for in vivo therapy, when they touch or do the same thing. There is a tendency of isatuximab not to be internalized, not to be released. Sorry, I correct myself. They tend to be internalized by itself, and I don't have experience with that antibody. This antibody went on patients quite late as compared to daratumumab. So I'm not aware of any of these effects induced by the isatuximab antibody. Now, luckily for patients, there are many other reagents coming into test, into trial. A few of them are already approved for therapy, even though only for diseases related to kidney. Other different anti-CD38 antibodies are in analysis as bispecific reagent. One arm of this antibody reacts with something specific and activating receptor. The other one, the second arm, is linked to the address, where to go. So you have a bridge between effectors and target cells. This is something quite important. The other alternative is represented by the fact that CD38 has become the target also for CAR T cells, which are, in my view, very important therapeutic tool, a little bit expensive for the government, but very effective. This, I think, is what I know on the field, which is not too much. Indeed, isatuximab is a latecomer, but it has shown some way superior superior performances in terms of therapeutic outcomes. They reflect different stories. I mean, daratumumab is fully human stuff, and isatuximab was born as a murine antibody and then humanized. Isatuximab was selected a long time ago in virtue of its ability to induce direct death, so inducing direct signals on the target cells, inducing cell death. The second thing is that isatuximab was adopted or selected, the original clones, because it was able to interfere with the enzymatic activity of the target CD38. I remember here CD38 is also a ectoenzyme, is an adhesion molecule, is a transducer of signal, but also it is an important ectoenzyme which can be considered as involved in the immune response. So the daratumumab is stronger in terms of cytotoxicity mediated by complement. But isatuximab is stronger in its ability to inhibit the enzymatic function of the molecule and also to induce signal, which is another important effect. So these two, at least two positive function could be of help in high-risk situation like IQ positive cells, and the experience is I've seen just recently a couple of papers in this not published paper in this area, and the differences are slightly quite modest, I would say, not so strong as expected and wished. Thank you. The CD38 is the target of multiple reagents. So I'm expecting that the ability of the actual regimen, therapeutic regimen, which involved immune modulation, the ability to act as inhibitor like PD-L1 or other molecules working together like CD47 could represent a panel of alternatives that can be used. Don't forget that part of the success of daratumumab is due to the fact that this kind of therapy is highly appreciated by patients. No major drawback, no major side effects. And this is good on one side, but these therapies are extremely expensive. So there is sort of reluctancy by the government to pay for, at least in Europe, where these drugs are distributed freely to patients. So in this case, using multiple approach, you must consider also the cost is a problem. And not all the countries are willing to pay such extra cost to deal with. On the other side, you must consider that the therapy of these patients has improved dramatically since the introduction of the antibodies, plus other things like lenalidomide and other modulator of the internal. In my view, I think that there should be an extra improvement after the introduction of monoclonal antibodies, represented by cells like CAR-T, as I was saying, adapted to react with different target on the myeloma. Not only CD38, many of them are different, like BCMA and so on. And my favorite bi or trispecific, the bispecific antibodies linking on one side killer effectors, T killer or NK cells, and the second arm of the antibody is specific for a second molecule, not CD38, on myeloma, are a good perspective, since they cost much less than CAR-T, at least in Europe, are still quite impressive, and only few patients can afford it. I'm really glad to the Korean Society for inviting to assist. I've never been in Korea before, first. Second, I was impressed by the organization of this meeting. It's really impressive, considering also the number of people attending, coming from everywhere, especially I think in the Oriental area, many people. And I was interested, attended the part of the meeting focused on acute leukemias, which collected several experts coming from everywhere, including Australia and the United States for sure. I don't know what's going on now. The different political situation behind NIH in the United States probably will change, will influence negatively the future of the research in experimental medicine like this. Thank you. What makes the difference in the field is the contribution of the new generation in this field. Unfortunately, and not by my choice, I am the old generation. And our experience is difficult to transfer directly. New generation, they must invest in analysis, in analysis of the problem, which is the first part. Invest in attention to patients, and also they must pay attention to technology, which should not be the dominant part of the story. The results to be transferred in clinics, which is I'm an MD, so this result should go directly to patients. So the story must start from the patient and from the problems of this patient. And the new generation, the new doctors must be part involved in basic science, and the other part should be focused on the attention to the disease. So it should be a balanced attention to the situation. And the other part is a lot of work to do. Thank you very much.